one of my better stock rams. Now, I did not have any sheep this tin at weaning, but they're definitely hopping a little bit. Great timing, land when the work is done. Welcome to Sheep School. Today we are looking after these yos. Haven't seen them in a couple of weeks. Been a bit busy on another project. Maybe give you a look at that now. Quick look at what we've been doing. It's eaten up a bit of time. I took my eye off the ball with these yos. So they've been out on reasonable grass. They're not just busted with grass, but look, they're dried up now. They're dried up a month, 6 weeks now. Should be in better condition. I just don't like the way they're looking. I'm not happy with them. Convinced there's something going on. Some worms, some fluke, some rumen fluke. There's something going on. Going to do a sample. So we're going to go in with Zanel, the same as the hoggets. Convinced myself there's rumen fluke in these. Might take a sample just to double check. But we're going to run them into the shed here. Bit of an MOT. It's a month until the rams are going out. So they really need a bit of looking after. Going to dose them, foot bath them. See a couple that's showing signs of maggots. Very late in the year for that. We're going to treat them as well. We get to it. See a couple of them lame. Not too bad, but they're definitely hopping a little bit. Lame sheep is going to mean less lamb. We're 4 weeks, about a month out from the rams going out. We really need to be getting these ladies in peak condition. The better condition they're in and the healthier they are, the more lambs I will have next spring. Getting that end of it right should mean less empties at scanning time. Some of these sheep are actually quite thin and dirty on the back end. They're a naturally clean sheep. Shouldn't be as dirty as this. There's something going on. Samples taken. You will have seen me doing that before in lambs and the hoggets, so not going to bore you with that again, but it's basically just walking around after the sheep, taking a wee sample. So it's called a pool sample. There could be 12, maybe 14 different dung patches where I took a little sample in the pots. So it should give us an overall picture of what's going on. So we get these sent off, get a look at the results. I'll stick them up a little bit later on. Now, just going to get set up here. So I have my backpack and holster here as well. Stick this on. A lot of people commenting on this. Where did I get it? I got it from my drug supplier. It's a Nepronex one. It probably came on a special offer and they gave it to me last year. It's actually very hard to get good ones of these. I like this one. Actually a nice, I never realised it was on this, but there's a wee clip here for your pipe, so you don't snag your pipe and pull it off when you're walking past something. But thinking out loud of possibly getting some of these made up for my new shop. Let me know if it's something that you may be interested in, some of these. So quite a useful tool. I know they come with a strap in the packet and you fiddle that around your shoulders and you hang the bottle, but it's banging off your back. This is a much more comfortable operation, so we'll make a start here. So this dose today is Zanel. The active ingredient is oxyclosanide. It will kill adult fluke and rumen fluke. It's the only dose that will kill them. So 20 millilitres is the maximum volume you can give a sheep. So my dosing syringe only goes up to 15. So just going to give them 2 10s. If you're wondering, you see me giving them 2 doses. So make a start here, get to it. Oh, and if you're wondering, I don't have Robbie today. Robbie's actually over in Canada. So he's over visiting his son and his family, little grandson as well. So hello to you guys. I know you've watched the channel. And hello to all Canadians. I know from my analytics, I've quite a number of Canadian viewers and viewers in the USA. So hello to everyone there. It's great to have some international viewers as well. Something I never expected when I started this channel. All right. So there's definitely something up with these sheep. Now, I am 99% convinced it's rumen fluke. I'm sure that sample will come back positive. But my sheep are handling quite thin. You see this lady here, quite thin. Her wool isn't in great condition. Another thin sheep behind her. There's just something not right with the sheep. They don't seem to have the same energy as well. So this dose will be a good start. Now I would like to mineral drench them as well, but a lot of people are advising it's not a good idea, so I'm not going to mineral drench them today. We'll have them in again fairly soon. They're right beside the shed here, so we'll run them in again. It's not best practice, I think, to dose, especially a fluke dose that softens them up. That was something that a lot of people commented in the last one. So every day is the school day, gonna leave it. We'll do them maybe in a week's time. It's actually around the time of year I would go in with my first fluke dose. The 3rd or 4th week of September is when I usually go in with fluke dose. It's been wet and very mild. We have a big problem with fluke, liver fluke in our area. Different to rumen fluke, so I don't fancy going in with a fluke dose along with this one. So maybe we'll do the fluke dose with the mineral drench the next day. Possibly nitroxanil or one of them fluke doses that catches the earlier one. So keep at it. So first of all, rumen fluke, going in with oxyclosanide, same dose as the Hoggett's got. That's for starters. Have to run them through the foot bath, that's another little job. See a couple of them lame, not too bad, but they're definitely hopping a little bit. Lame sheep is going to mean less lambs as well, possibly more empty. So I run through the foot bath and not do them any harm. They haven't actually seen the foot bath since last October, around this time last year. I run them through the foot bath just before the rams went out. Here's the sheep in the race, very thin. Now I did not have any sheep this thin at weaning, which is about almost 6 weeks ago. She's very thin. Now sometimes you'd see a very thin sheep like this and she's got a bad mouth or something, but when I check her mouth, she's actually got all her teeth. She's a 4-year-old sheep. So when I check her mouth, she actually has all her teeth. So the only thing I can figure out is rumen fluke or liver fluke or some type of burden, parasitic burden, causing her thin. She's good on her feet, no sore feet. So the vast majority of the sheep aren't too bad. They're actually in good enough nick, but there is maybe a couple of dozen, about 20 of these, maybe a little bit more of these sheep that are very thin. So there's something going on. So hopefully this oxyclosanide, it'll be a good start to getting a handle on it. Now, if you're wondering about my setup, simple Stanley race here. So these sheep are the ones that are done. I've one fill left. I'll just give you a look at the way I'm working it. So it's just the simple race here. It's only holding about 3 or 4 sheep. So I'm using this kind of a corridor, a passageway here as a collecting pen. I temporarily set this up back in the summer when we were dosing lambs. So what I do is I just open this door. I have one fill of sheep left out here. So here you'll see the last fill. That's some sheep's wool here. Useless stuff, but anyway, we get rid of that. It's my machinery shed. My limited machinery is here. Come on, Pops, bring her out. Bring her out. Good dog. Steady. Put them on. Put them on. Come by. Come by. Good dog. So you see, we're just filling this corridor here. Pops is actually very useful. I give out about her sometimes in the field. The big batch of sheep can face her and intimidate her. But oddly enough, when she's in the shed, she's actually very good. She'll go behind the sheep and she'll give them a little nip or a little tug, keep them moving up to me. So she's a very useful little dog here in the shed. So let me know, is that unusual? I would have said it would have been almost the opposite, where a dog is quite good in the field, but when they're in a shed in confined spaces, maybe they're under a little bit more pressure. But she's very useful here. I'll give you a look at her in action after. You'd missed Robbie. Robbie's very good for gates and doors, but Pops is filling in here. Just haven't her trained for opening doors and gates yet. So you'll see Pops down the back here. She's always trying to keep the sheep up to me, so she's doing a great job. Come on, put them on, Pops. Put them on, put them on, put them on. So she's pretty good at that. Now the sheep will face her sometimes, but she's getting the job done. She's filling the race for me. Now I've been rattling through these myself. The help has just landed. My little nephew Donica has just landed. He was away at football training. He's just back now. So we've only actually 4 sheep left. Great timing. Land when the work is done. What have you to say for yourself? He's nothing to say today. But we'll get some more work for him. We'll get something else lined up for him. You can open that for me, Donica. Let them out. Pull it towards you. That's it. Good man. So that's all dosed and done. So I had my ewes out here, let them out here as they were done. So I've run them back into the shed. Doesn't make much sense, but I'll explain to you why. So I've them back in here. Going to run them through the footbath. So the only footbath I have is actually in the race. Footbathing while you're actually doing a job like dosing or drenching or injecting or whatever is not a good job for 2 reasons. One, the sheep don't flow through the race properly, and the other reason is you're getting splashed with the nasty chemicals. So I have these footbaths covered over, and I'm after doing that drench. So the easiest thing is just take the covers off and run them through again. Hopefully they'll follow each other through the race. Donica's here, he's going to give me a hand to get them through. So we're just going to stand back and hopefully the sheep will follow each other through the race. Now the reason I'm footbathing is I've seen about 3-4 sheep showing a little bit tender on a foot. So it's not a good time coming up to mating season to have a sore foot and maybe be a little bit low in body condition. So just going to run the full mob of sheep through the footbath. Now I haven't footbathed the ewes since this time last year. I haven't had much trouble with feet. Thankfully they're a good breed for that. They're pretty resistant to foot rot. So I'll just give you a look here. I get these covers pulled off. So as I say, I have a mix already in the footbath. So I'll give you a look at the stuff I'm using. It's a pretty nasty smell of it. I'm sure it's not great stuff, but I don't think any of them are that pleasant. So, right, we'll get the covers off here, get the sheep ran through it. Now, so I'm finished with my drench backpack. So the first job is get this off. I'm not carrying this around needlessly. So, you'll see these aluminium covers. These actually just are tops of the footbath, so I'll just take them off here. Now, so that's the covers off, so quite simple. The problem now is getting sheep to flow through it, but hopefully when you get 1 or 2 through it. The hardest job I found, one of the hardest jobs this year, was trying to get the lambs through it, treating them for scald. But hopefully the ewes won't be too bad. Give it a go here. Pops inside. Now, when I bought this race, I often wondered why one side was mesh and not a solid sheeted panel, and this is why. The dog is very useful at moving the sheep. When they stop moving in the race, the dog will keep them moving. Now, last sheep just running through here. Not that simple. Probably better if I was letting them on out to a field and a nice clear run. I have applied for a grant for a stationary footbath in the yard. Has anyone any recommendations on what's a good footbath? Something that I can just leave set up, maybe with a cover, so when the sheep are exiting they just walk through the footbath. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you know of on the market that would suit my job. Great to hear from you. We're about 3 weeks out from rams or tups going out. Now, I'm not sure what time I'm going to aim for lambing. I went a week earlier last year, it worked well, but just by the skin of my teeth, by about 2 or 3 days, we missed that snow. So, look, it's a lottery as to when you lamb. So there's a rule of thumb here in Ireland that you never lambed before St. Patrick's Day, because the weather was always pretty terrible up till that, and the weather always seemed to pick up and you had a bit of grass. So some thinking to that, I chanced that I started lambing around the 10th of March. This year, not sure what we do, but the longer we leave them on that good field of grass after a dose, body condition will come up. There should be some more lambs, so we'll see. So that's all done with the ewes. Just run them out here onto good grass. It's a bit windy, so the weather has taken a turn for the worse. Give that in the forecast. It was a very good morning. We've seen now when we're getting them in, but changed a lot since that. So got these done now. Just not overly happy with them. They seem a bit thin, a bit under condition. So I had some lick buckets out. You might have seen in one of the videos where I had scabby ears in the lambs. So I had a couple of lick buckets left over from grass tetany. So I've just left them in with the ewes here. Interesting that the ewes are very, very keen on them. So anyone have any experience on lick buckets? Do you find them good? I'm not sure. Some people say they're a battery went dead. The weather conditions weren't great, so I'm not sure what the sound quality was even like. So back in the shed here, I was just talking about lick buckets there. Some people say they're a total waste of money. I'm not sure. My experience this year of them, I used them for grass tetany. Definitely found them good. High magnesium bucket that definitely saved ewes on me, because the lush green grass brought on a bit of grass tetany. And I found that the ewes on this piece of ground consumed a lot more of them, so they were really cleaned out the buckets, whereas on the other bit of ground they weren't too bothered about them at all, and ended up bringing them buckets back here to these sheep. So I'm of the opinion I'm lacking something in the ground here. So has anyone any experience of lick buckets, or done any tests or trials, or do you find your sheep won't actually thrive without them? I'm of the opinion my sheep seem to be lacking something on this ground. So let me know in the comments if you have any experience on lick buckets. Do you find them good, and what brand? It'd be great to hear from you. So here's a few ewe lambs here. I bought these in the Clin sale in Ballymena. They were the first prize ewe lambs in the show up there. So they cost £200 each, which probably seems like a lot of money to most people. But then I got €170 for my lambs, which is about £160. In my opinion, they weren't as good a lambs as these. So I bought these. I was up to buy a ram, unsuccessfully buy a ram. I was the underbidder at 3,500 on a ram, but I decided I couldn't really justify that kind of money. I had a good sale the previous week, but decided not to purchase, we'll say. No regrets. I have no regrets. I'm not stuck for a ram this year. It was just to have some new bloodlines coming on, but I bought them too in Roscommon. Pretty confident they'll do a good job for me. So I'm just in a field here with my lambs and my stock rams, and I'll just give you a look at what I'm after finding this morning. One of my better stock rams, stone dead, clostridial, I would imagine. He's quite swelled up. These were only seen a couple of days ago, so he's quite puffed up, quite swelled around the leg area here, quite puffy. So I would imagine clostridial bacteria of some description. Now they are vaccinated. So on closer inspection, I see blood on the top of his head and blood coming out of his mouth. Would he have died from fighting? I'm not sure. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's anybody's guess. I see a bit of damage on the ground here, where maybe he struggled a bit after he was injured. I'm not sure. It's not always roses and sunshine in farming, as anybody involved in it will know. You have bad days like this. So here's my big ram being unceremoniously being hauled up into the knackery lorry. So this truck comes and collects dead animals. It's compulsory for us here in Ireland to dispose of our animals like this. So it costs somewhere between 30 and 40 euro to get rid of one sheep here. But it's something we have to do. So here's the results from the fecal leg sample. No fluke, no rumen fluke showing up. A small amount of worms, you'll see it here, 150 eggs per gram. Not major, but then again, fluke is a tricky one to show up on a fecal egg sample because it's the young fluke that haven't started laying worms that cause the problems. So I wouldn't really depend on a fecal egg sample for fluke. So I forgot to film an ending for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a like, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
And remember, every day with sheep is a school day.